Hey guys, my name's Nadia and I am the owner and colon hydrotherapist at Vitalita Detox and Wellness. So, colon hydrotherapist, you say, and I get that a lot. So today I really just wanted to go into the what, the why, and the how of colonics because it's really a subject that people are scared of. There's such a taboo around it around colon cleansing, and I just wanted to uh, clear things up a bit, explain to you exactly what it is that I do, why people need colonics, and how it's done. Just so there's removing a little bit of that fear or anxiety um, around colonics, really. And it's completely normal to be a little bit anxious or find the process daunting. So I hope this clears a few things up and puts a lot of people at ease. It's honestly not a scary treatment whatsoever, and there's thousands of benefits that you might experience through really looking after your gut health. Guys, so let's start with the what. What are colonics? A few other names for colonics could be colon hydrotherapy or colonic irrigation, which can actually sound a little bit scary, colonic irrigation, but it's all the same thing essentially, and it's not scary, as I mentioned. So colonics is just a gentle, safe form of cleansing the colon by administering a gentle flow of gravity-fed water into the rectum. That water will then loosen any waste and remove waste and toxins from the colon, essentially. It's not some new treatment. Colonics have been practiced for centuries. The first record of an enema, I think, is ancient Egypt. So it's something that we've recognised is, necessary for a long, long period of time. And I think that it's just been forgotten over the, last 100 years or so. There's a lot of shame around it. No one likes to talk about their bum or their poo, and it's a really important conversation to have. So essentially, all a colonic is a gentle flow of water coming into the colon, helping to remove any old waste that has accumulated. So pretty simple concept when you think about it. So now let's get into the why. Why would someone need a colonic? Why on earth would someone go and put themselves through this scary procedure of having a colonic? So there are many, many reasons. And you see all these memes online like, oh, we don't need to detox, we have a liver, or whatever else it might say. And yeah, 200 years ago, people probably could have got by without helping their bodies to detox. Your liver filters the toxins, dumps them in the colon gets them out of the body in, a happy transit time of maybe 6 to 12 hours. But that's just not realistic of our day and age today. We have trillions of more toxins than our ancestors would have had to deal with. And from an evolutionary point of view, we have not had the time to adapt to the introduction of all these toxins and to know how to process them and remove them from the body. So, if you think about it, we are exposed to toxins absolutely everywhere we go. Our food is a huge one. Obviously, what we're eating ends up in the colon directly. So, our food is just so important. And we probably are taking in so many more toxins than we realize just through what we're eating. So, if you think about all these artificial colors, flavors, GMOs, MSG, all these preservatives, all these chemicals, um, you know, flavor enhancers, all these other things that are put into our food these days. Um, our ancestors never had to deal with that. They were eating straight out of their garden, pretty much. So, food is a huge player, of course. But our water also now has toxins in it. Your chlorine and your fluoride that's in water. Most people are just drinking tap water and absorbing those toxins on a daily basis. But also places you wouldn't think to look, we have toxic exposure as well. So things like our skincare products, our household cleaning products, even what we're washing our sheets on, we're rubbing on our skin when we're sleeping and we're absorbing those toxins. We're really absorbing toxins everywhere. Medications are another big one that contain a lot of toxic chemicals and additives. But even just our air, if you live in a city or close to the city, you're breathing in toxins on a daily basis. So that is essentially the why we need to give our bodies a hand, because we are just bombarded by toxins. And those toxins essentially end up in the colon. And if our colon isn't processing these because it doesn't really recognize them as a food, they're these foreign alien substances that our body's trying to process. If our colon cannot get them out, those toxins can then get reabsorbed, and get back into the bloodstream, circulate through to every single cell of the body and start causing havoc. And when that happens over a long period of time, so whether it be 10, 20, 30, 40 years, however long it's been since you haven't looked into your gut health, which for most people is their whole life, when this happens over a long period of time, that's when you see the development of chronic disease. Um, and it's actually really interesting that the introduction of a lot of these chemicals that we're exposed to now correlates quite closely with the increase in chronic disease. So things like cancer, heart disease, dementia, all of these diseases have greatly increased since we've increased our toxic burden. So colonics are a really, really fantastic thing to do to prevent chronic disease. And I know that's not something we generally think about, particularly me being a young person. It's not something that I would necessarily be thinking about, worrying about whether or not I'm going to develop, heart disease in 20 years' time. You don't generally tend to think about it until it's too late. But through my personal circumstances, having been touched by cancer very closely in my life, I really, it was a bit of a wake up call for me. And losing my mother to it, just seeing, trying to figure out what's causing it. Because, we're donating thousands and millions of dollars to all these, cancer charities or research facilities, and the cancer rates just keep on growing. So to look into prevention is absolutely a fantastic way to look at it. And everyone needs to start paying attention because, if it's not you personally, it's someone you love that's going to be impacted by some sort of chronic disease. And if you can prevent that by just helping your body to remove a lot of these toxins, then why wouldn't you, honestly? Why wouldn't you? And there are so many other benefits of colonics besides the obvious, getting those toxins out for that reason, the chronic disease. But colonics can really, really help people that are suffering from any sort of digestive disorder. So anything from constipation to IBS, bloating, gas, a lot of different digestive issues can really be alleviated through colon cleansing. And I'm not saying by any means that colon cleansing and colonics are, a magic pill. They're definitely a tool that we can use to help restore our gut health. But ultimately, it does come down to diet and lifestyle in the long run as well. You can have as many colonics as you want, but if you're still putting crap in the top end, you're still going to be absorbing a lot of those toxins. So I really like to look at it like a holistic approach. I like to use the analogy that our digestive system is like a garden. If you were to buy a house and the garden's been neglected for 20, 30, 40 years, however long it's been, and it's just going to be completely overcome by weeds. Anything you would have planted there initially would have been completely killed off, smothered by all these weeds, right? So the first thing you want to do in that garden is just weed it. Weed the crap out of it, literally. Just remove all of that bad stuff. And that's pretty much what colonics do. So we recommend doing a course of colonics, and the number of how many colonics you'll need is going to change depending on person to person. But we recommend doing a course close together, and that is pretty much just, starting from scratch, wiping the slate clean. Per se. I mean, we're never clean because we are constantly absorbing these toxins. But it's a really, really great thing to do for our bodies just to get all that old stuff out. And by old, I'm not just saying last week's meal. Stuff can hang around in the colon for decades. It's actually quite scary. The average person has between 2 to 6 kilos of old waste hanging around, which people don't really consider a lot of the time. Um, so that would be the first step, is weeding, getting all the crap out. The next thing you'd really want to do is you'd want to plant the good stuff. So that's when your probiotics really come into play. Um, so I would recommend, getting things from food as much as you can. So really incorporating fermented foods into your diet, and it's all the rage at the moment, which is great. So your kombuchas, your sauerkrauts, kefir. If you're someone that still eats dairy, then yogurt's a good addition to add in as well. Um, so that's the next step is you're planting the good stuff back in, and then after that you would in a garden you'd be watering these plants, you'd be feeding them. So that's what I recommend doing for your gut health as well, and that's where your nutrition and your lifestyle really comes into play. So it's all about having a balance. And I would never say to someone, don't eat chocolate or don't eat that. I think food should be enjoyed, of course, but you just need to be more mindful about your choices. So anything you're letting in your body, whether it is food or a liquid or even a thought, because thoughts can, contribute to a toxic buildup in the body as well. So anything you're letting into your body, just try and be more mindful. Is this healing me or is this harming me? And that way you can balance your scale a little better in regards to, what you're putting into your body, really. And then the next thing I guess you'd do in that garden is you'd maintain it, because if you neglect it again, the weeds grow back. So when it comes to your gut health, regular colonics are really recommended to sort of keep that momentum going, stop those toxins and that waste building up again. But also to just help, give your body a little bit of help every now and then, because we really underestimate how overloaded our body is with these toxins. So to be giving your body that extra help, whether it be on a monthly basis, again, that will depend on your personal circumstances, but getting onto a maintenance schedule of colonics is fantastic um, to really just help boost and maintain your gut health. So that way you've created this really thriving inner ecosystem. And our gut health controls so many other aspects of our health, which I'll go into in another video because I'll be here forever. So if we've really created a happy, thriving environment for our microbiome inside the gut, then we are doing ourselves a world of good in regards to prevention of disease, but also just general health maintenance. So that, I guess, is the big why people need colonics. We are so overrun by toxins. We can't keep up. Our body needs some help. Okay, so the how. This is a bit you guys have probably all been waiting for. Like, how on earth do I do a colon cleanse? And this is the bit that people are probably the most daunted by. And look, like I said, I completely understand that. For me, because it's a daily thing that I'm talking about colonics or talking about poo, it's not a weird thing for me at all. But I definitely understand that there is a bit of taboo around it, like I said. And when we're children, it's you get congratulated for doing a poo, or I've just had a niece been born about 6 months ago, and every time she does a poo, we'll like look at it and we'll be so fascinated. But as an adult, it's this no-go subject. We don't talk about our bums or about our poo. There's a lot of shame and embarrassment. And if there's shame and embarrassment, then you're obviously going to delay and delay and delay to ever go and see a doctor if something's wrong. So I get it. I get that it can be daunting. So I'll explain the process from start to finish, essentially. So when you come in for a clinic, you first come in for a consultation. So in the consultation, we just chat about, a lot of the benefits. We chat about what your concerns are, anything you might be anxious about. And I go through step by step what's going to happen. Again, go through a lot of the benefits. Just really put you at ease to know that you're safe. It's not by any means a risky or dangerous procedure at all. Very safe, very gentle, very effective. So the equipment we use, our units are called the LIBI, which stands for Lower Intestinal Back Bowel Evacuation, which is a really weird acronym, and you don't even need to worry about what that means, but that's pretty much what it stands for anyway. So these units are made in the States. Over there, their governing body is the FDA, so it's all approved over in the States, and when they're imported into Australia, it's all also approved by our TGA, which is the Therapeutic Goods Administration. So they're sort of the governing body that gives the yay or nay on anything from vitamins and supplements to medical grade equipment, which this colonic device is. It's a medical grade unit. So all ticked off, all certified, all legit here in Australia. So what the Libby does, it is a unit that double filters the water. So it comes in from the tap and it goes through a carbon filter and a UV purifier. So double filtration system of the water. So it's really clean, really sanitary. And then that water is then fed by gravity through a unit that the unit that then comes through the tubes. And these are the tubes here. So as you can see, that's pretty tiny compared to my pinky finger, and I'm a pretty small human. This rectal tube is tiny and it only goes in about an inch, so probably about that far. You get to insert that in complete privacy, and I obviously explain how you do it, how you hop on the bed, all of that. So it's not like you're left blind with me just going, here, shove this up your bum. It's I coach you through the whole process, answer any questions or concerns you might have. So essentially, yeah, you're getting a gravity-fed flow of water brought into the colon through that tube. Being gravity-fed, it's extremely gentle, extremely safe. There are different styles of colonics. We use the open system. Other styles of colonics do use a pressurized form of water, which in my opinion is not as safe as the gravity-fed flow. So that is why I went with the Libby when I was deciding on what equipment to use. So it's a really, really, again, I just want to stress it's safe and it's gentle. It's a gravity-fed flow of water. So we're literally just trickling, clean, purified water into the colon. So if you can picture like a massage bed with a toilet on the end, I might put some photos up in another video, and I've probably got some online if you want to have a peek at the unit and see what it looks like. But it's not scary. It's not scary at all. It's a really, really easy unit to understand. I coach you through how to use it, and provide you with as much privacy as I can. I understand that some people prefer me in the room to sort of talk them through it, ease their anxiety a little bit. But to be completely honest, most people do prefer that privacy during their treatment. So completely up to the client, and I obviously never leave you alone for the whole time. I'm popping my head in periodically to make sure you're okay, and will never let you on if you have any particular contraindications or something that you are particularly concerned about. So I definitely will tailor the treatment to each individual. And like I said, if it's someone that would prefer to have me in there with them, talking them through it the whole time, it's definitely an option. But yeah, from experience, most people do prefer that private setting, because you can release a lot more when you don't have a stranger watching you poo, pretty much, which is another benefit of the open system, that you don't have the therapist in there with you the whole time. Alrighty, so what is that going to feel like when you've got water coming in the rear end? Most people are not accustomed to that feeling, and to be completely honest, it's a strange feeling the first time. The water trickles in, and it's quite bizarre. It's not painful or uncomfortable right away. It's never painful. But as the water first trickles in, it's just a really strange feeling, and everyone will experience that differently. So it's hard to, use the right words that will resonate with each individual client. But as the water starts to build up in the colon, it generally starts to feel like a little bit of a crampy feeling, maybe a diarrhea feeling. Some women compare it to period pain. So guys, you might get an idea of what period pain feels like, but it's not severe at all. It's quite a comfortable cramp. It's not, like I said, it's not painful. It should not be ever painful. And I just think it feels like you urgently need to do a poo. And that's exactly what you do. So when you get that build up feeling, you gently push as exactly as though you were sitting on the loo. I try to explain to people this unit is exactly like a big toilet. You're just more comfortable because you're lying down and you're in a nicer setting than your average bathroom. So once you get that build up feeling, you just gently push and that water and that waste will come around the outside of the tube. So if you can imagine the tube's here, this is your rectum. As the cramps come, you'll just push, your sphincter muscles of the rectum will expand and let the water and the waste around the outside of the tube and then contract again back over the tube. And that's a really strange concept, I know, for people who sort of understand, like, how can I push something out while something's in? And honestly, it just works. Our bodies are really intelligent, but it works. And you can get quite large chunks of waste come through without a problem as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what happens. The waste goes straight down into the well, out through a clear viewing tube if you're interested in seeing what's coming out, and then it goes straight down through the sewage, never to be seen again. I get a lot of people asking, like, oh, do you have to go clean it out at the end? And no, it doesn't accumulate in a bucket that we have to empty. It goes straight out through the sewage, exactly like a toilet does. So it's not like I ever go through and look at what's come out at all. So no judgment there at all. But yeah, that's essentially how the treatment goes. The treatment could go anywhere between, half an hour to 45 minutes, up to an hour sometimes. It really depends on the client and sort of why they're there. But yeah, it's a bit of a non-event. It's not as scary as what people assume. The first one, you might experience the cramps a little bit more than what you would further down the track. It's just really individual. But like I said, it's not painful. It can just be uncomfortable, but the whole experience is really, really relieving. And you don't get any mess on you. There's an extractor fan on the unit which removes any odor as well. So really, really clean, really safe, really sanitary, really, not scary at all. And people, freak out about this tube, but it's tiny and it's comfortable. We give you some lubricant for the insertion. It's a really private treatment. So you don't have that anxiety of having a stranger watching you take a crap, pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much the how. And it really is really, really simple, safe, pleasant procedure, really. Wouldn't even say it's a procedure, it's a nice treatment. And yeah, that's pretty much what a colonic is. So I hope I have cleared a lot of those questions up for people. The reason I've done this video is because a lot of people are scared to ask. So now that you know, you can start those conversations. You can look into, having a colonic and looking into your gut health a bit more and really taking initiative over your health and really thinking ahead because, like I said earlier, people don't consider what is going to happen to them 20, 30, 40 years down the track. Prevention starts now. It is never too early or too late to give your body some help to have the best life ever, like there's so many amazing benefits from colonics. And like I said, it's not, you're not going to have one colonic and your life's going to be changed, but there's such an amazing tool to really help transform your health. So I would really, really recommend looking into it. Don't be a chicken. And there's the phone. So that's my cue. Okay, bye.